folks, Rich here at RC Informer. Today I have a sneak peek preview unboxing of the latest and greatest from FMS Models in their 1400mm series. Now, we haven't seen a 1400mm Warbird in quite some time, and FMS decided to kick off a new one. Haven't seen them in a few years now, and with this being the 70th anniversary of the Flying Tigers, they decided to put out a P-40 Flying Tiger. So here it is, guys. Just taking a look at this thing in the box, some sweet things to notice right off the bat. All machined aluminum rotating retracts, brand new pocket type boxes that the all digital servos actually fit into, so they're not glued in place anymore. They can be removed with screws, which is nice. Really nice split flaps, all new ball linkages, and as from what I can see, submerged hinges all the way around, just like the real airplane, ailerons, rudder, and elevator. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box, and I'll lay out all the parts for you. Here's the layout of all the parts that came in the box, minus the instructions, of course. This is an early sample of the plane, but I tell you, it doesn't really need any instructions. This thing is not only really cool, super detailed, but it's designed for minimal assembly, as you can see. So everything is installed, starting here with the main fuselage. Everything is already in it, ready to go. Motor, speed controller, tail servos and everything. You got your two wing panels with the retracts and servos, ball linkages already installed, even your guns and your pitot tube and wing light details already on there. One-piece elevator, one-piece rudder that just bolts on. You can see your prop and spinner up front. Really nice scale fuel tank, drop tank with all the fuel fittings and everything, and then a bag of hardware, nuts, bolts, screws, wing doublers to get this whole thing together. Now, this is painted up in the RT Smith Hell's Angels paint job, number 77. And I tell you what, this thing is impressive. Again, you don't even need to put the horns and the rods on this thing, or the horns and the rods. They're already on there. Everything's already ready to go. So you sort of screw this thing together, put your receiver battery in, trim it and tune it, and you are off to the races. Anyway, let's take a closer look at some of the individual parts. The first part up to show you here is the main fuselage, and man, this thing is sweet. They have done such a nice job on this thing. It has the 4258, I believe it is, 550 kV motor right up front here that runs off of 4 cells. That really powers these 1400mm Warbirds quite well. Also, you can see right down in here, let's see if we can get down in there, you can kind of see the speed controller, the 70 amp ESC in there. Lots of cooling, folks. You can see it right down in there as well, because the cowl flaps really help cool that thing down. And of course, cooling hole down in here as well. So they've really thought about keeping this thing nice and cool as it's running along. Your typical shark's mouth teeth on this thing that the Flying Tigers was known for. Really awesome detail. Now, as I roll around to the underside here, all metal threads inside there for your 4 wing bolts, and you can see the plug-in PC board for your wings and everything, and your Dean's connector there. We'll get to that on the inside. Also, real nice here, they're using a lot of plastic parts for some of these edges here, the wing fillets that normally you know, you end up damaging those, or they get damaged in the box, but now they're making a lot of that stuff out of plastic. The Flying Tiger on the side that Walt Disney actually designed for the airplane way back when. You can see the Pilot RT Smith decals on there, and his 5 kills on there. Cooling hole down there in the back. Really impressive as we get down here to the tail. Very nice spring-loaded doors that get you in here to your tail retract that has a metal trunnion. And you can see it has a tongue and groove, or a little pin mechanism that goes into the V-notch for the separate tail steering servo, which is really nice. And you can see how all that will extend and retract nicely. Newly designed ball links. Actually, this is a larger size ball link, not like the 980mm, but a bigger size to handle these larger 1400mm Warbirds. And then right back here, a tail hinge here that just pops in place, because you can see it's got a curve here because it is a submerged type hinge, just like on the real airplane. As we move along to the front here, you can see the pilot detail and the gun sight right on there, already attached for you and ready to go. Magnetic hatch right here, which you just lift up. You can see your pilot screwed in place. Tongue and groove up front with your rare earth magnet in the back. And as we look inside here, just like the other 1400 millimeter Warbirds, like the P-51, real nice slide in and slide out battery tray that locks the battery in place for positive CG every time you go fly. Really nice arrangement in here. You can see your elevator and your rudder servos in there, and of course all your wires are all labeled, ready to be plugged into your receiver. And you can see your two mounts here for your multi-pin connectors, where each wing plugs right into here to connect your flaps, your lights, your ailerons, and your retractable landing gear right in there. Really slick design. FMS has come a tremendously long way in making these models right, and you can see how nicely that thing attaches on there. Overall, I'm really blown away, engine detail and everything. I can't wait to get this thing out to the flying field and let it rip. But anyway, guys, just A+ on this fuselage. The next thing to show you is one of the main wing panels. Very impressive, folks. One of the cleaner wings I've seen in quite some time. You can see here the submerged type hinge that's in here. I'll try and make this thing move. It's usually not good to do this to servos, but just to sort of demonstrate it to you. You can see how you don't see any V-notch in there. It's all just rotates real nicely right around the hinge point, just the way the real airplane would. Single spar design. I went ahead and put the fiberglass spar in there so you can kind of see that's how the two wing halves join together. You put the two halves in and you bolt it on with the 4 bolts. I'll go ahead and take that thing out. But just a thing of beauty here. Real nice single point wing connector where you've got your gear, your flaps, your lights, your ailerons. Everything's all plugged into here, and this just plugs into that center section there in the fuselage. Even the guns are already installed. There is a pitot tube on that wing that's already put on, but really nice shape of everything. The landing gear on this thing is one impressive work of art. It almost looks like there's even a carbon block right here to help keep the front in, but you can see that the strut is all machined aluminum with a metal trunnion in there. And yes, these are compressible oleo struts. I can't really compress them too much because they're in the wheel well, but you can see that screw retracts and extends. So there's working suspension on here, really just like the version 8 FMS 1400 millimeter P-51. Really slick with opening and closing doors. Another thing really to note is these brand new servo holders. You can see these pop off actually, which is real nice. You see there's a screw right there and one right there. You can unscrew and replace your servo that way, so no more glued in servos on these things. They can be removed with screws. Really sweet flap unit, split flaps just like the real airplane with some scale ribs in there and so forth. Really nice the way that's all set up, and those just close right up. Very impressed. Wing spar buried all the way down into here. Of course, wingtip lights as well that shine through both sides, just like the real airplane. Anyway, oh, one last thing too. Again, the ball links are very impressive on this plane. These are bigger and newly designed ones, much larger than the 980 millimeter ones are, and brand new horns that they designed for this thing. Very impressive. So anyway, guys, gotta hand it to FMS. They're really doing some killer work on these things. Really outstanding wing panel that is ready to bolt together. As we take a look at the elevator and the rudder surfaces, just the same quality all the way around. This is really a great view to show you what the submerged hinge looks like. You can see they're hinged around a center point, kind of right in here. So there's really no gap in there, just like the real airplane is. And it's very impressive that FMS is doing this. You can see the larger ball link in there as well for controlling everything. And you can see they're even running spars through this stuff to make everything rigid. Elevator's the same way. You can see that submerged style hinge and a one-piece elevator with spars running through. Really phenomenal. I'm just real impressed with this. You can see how easy this thing will all just fit into place as it fits onto the model. Your elevator goes on with a couple screws through the top, then your rudder goes on with some screws through the bottom. and the entire empennage is assembled. So this is going to be a very quick building airplane. Real impressed with these parts. Here's just a quick look at the prop and the spinner on this airplane. The Curtiss props are really well made, really nicely decaled. I do think they probably put the decal a little farther out. I think that's supposed to be a little bit farther in, maybe even closer to the center, but I'll contact FMS about that. This is an early sample. Not a big deal. Those stickers actually, most of the time, a lot of times if I need to move them, I'll put a razor, like a razor blade under there and just kind of peel it off and move it to where I need to anyway. But we'll check into that. Real nice spinner design. You can see with the hex drive and all of the lock nuts that go in there to bolt the props in place. They put some holes in here for some cooling to help get some cooling into the motor. But very smooth, very nice scale spinner and prop blades. The last few items here to show you are the drop tank, which they have gone to great lengths to make super detailed. You know, rivets, lines, hard points, all the fuel lines and everything that connect to this thing. This is about as scale of a drop tank as it gets. Real impressed with that. Also, you can see the wing doublers here, wing screws, tail screws, prop nut to get everything in place, all in this hardware bag. Just a few screws, four screws to get the wing bolted on. Looks like 1, 2, 3 to 4 screws to get the tail on, and you know, you bolt your prop and spinner on, and you're out there pretty much flying once you get this thing battery plugged in and trimmed and tuned. Anyway, guys, FMS is back with the 1400mm P-40B Flying Tiger. Can't wait to get this thing out to the field and flying so we can give you guys a good flight demo. Thanks for checking out FMS Models. Thanks for watching RC Informer. And as always, we'll see you next time.